Hey everybody, Darryl Griffiths here for JumpCut Online. I hope you're all very well. A warm welcome, at least at the moment, to sunny Scotland out there, and my Glasgow Film Festival coverage for 2020. I've already made a start, a couple of written reviews that have been sent to my editors. Craig Roberts' Eternal Beauty, starring Sally Hawkins, and How to Build a Girl, which is the film adaptation of the Caitlin Moran bestseller and much beloved book. Sadly under embargo, those pesky embargoes, but they'll drop next week, so be sure to look out for more written reviews on the JumpCut Online website. But kicking off a video review coverage for this year is the film Proxima, a very low-key and thoughtful piece of science fiction directed by Alice Winocour and starring Eva Green, of course, well-renowned Miss Peregrine, Penny Dreadful, and of course that iconic Bond performance. She was definitely the money, putting in a priceless performance. I know that was shameful, but but here, Eva Green plays Sarah. She is a supremely talented engineer who is based at the European Space Agency in Cologne. She is a late addition to being a part of this year-long space mission of the same title, Proxima. When I first heard the title, I know it's a random reference, but I instantly thought of Russell Crowe in Gladiator. There was once a dream that was Rome, Proxima. It shall be realised. But I can assure you there's no like swords and shields and are you not entertained declarations here. But Eva Green's, it's very much focuses on the mother-daughter dynamic between her and her daughter Stella, played by Zélie Boulant. I hope I've got that right. And they very much focuses on their wonderful relationship and the pressures, particularly for a woman being a part of this world and trying to maintain a semblance of reality and keeping it grounded for her daughter, but recognising the deep sacrifices that have to be made for her to prolong her career in a very male-dominated world, and that's very much emphasised by her fellow colleague, played by Matt Dillon, who is full of American machismo and very much jokes at the beginning, oh, they're only good for cooking, women, you know, if they did go into space, and not necessarily recognising her credentials and her core skills. And the dynamic that they share is very compelling, and the way Eva Green has to navigate this whilst trying to keep a semblance of normality for Stella, it's quite the balance, quite a tricky balancing act that she has to achieve. The film, in the context of science fiction, it's very much a love letter to, of course, various females who don't necessarily get recognised enough in this field, and I know the festival's made a conscientious effort to really highlight female filmmakers this year with the opening night choices and closing night choices, which is wonderful because it's definitely something that really needs to be addressed. Not just obviously at Glasgow Film Festival, but generally across the board. And Proxima is a terrific start to the festival, I have to assure you. And we're starting to see more thoughtful and empathetic pieces of science fiction, I think. Particularly the ones that are headlined by women, of course. Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity sticks out in the mind with Sandra Bullock. And Eva Green's performance is, like the challenges that she faces, particularly with Matt Dillon and her fellow colleagues, and obviously with her daughter, there's such a great strength and a very stoic effort put in by her, but there's a wonderful undercurrent of vulnerability that she sort of has to, you know, try and keep enclosed, really, for the sake of her daughter not necessarily crumbling in front of her. And the other beautiful part of this, I think, is the maturity and the lack of disregard for how the feelings of the child of the piece gets involved in this. And Zélie Boulant, shows a maturity, displays a maturity beyond her years within the film, and just the way she articulates it is so sweet and innocent, but you can tell that, she feels increasingly left out of the picture. And Eva Green's trying to meet her halfway within the film, and it's deeply affecting. And I think the way Winocour frames a lot of it, and for all the low-key elements of it, I think it's very much drawn or created to inspire. I think particularly there's beautiful moments of Seller looking up at a projection of various space footage, and just sort of getting that over the shoulder shot, basically looking up and thinking, is this achievable? And seeing it through the eyes of her, and seeing her mother attempt to achieve this, and make her mark on history, is wonderful. And there's another particularly exquisite sequence where you see all these contraptions and all the training that goes into this job for Sarah, and just how disciplined she has to be. It's almost like a drill sergeant. She over-articulates it sometimes and really over-analyzes in a way. But I think that's very much, filled in because of how men perceive women a lot of the time in various workplaces, particularly in this field, because, as I say, there's a stench of machismo and misogynism or misogynistic tendencies that really kick in. And with Sarah's performance, the way she slowly undercuts it and proves her worth feels very immersive. And the sequence that I was referring to was the way that her daughter's thoughts fill in with the virtual reality sequence that she's carrying out, part of her training, and basically imagine herself in space. And it's sort of like this meeting of reality and space just sort of colliding like an asteroid, so sort of coming to Earth. I know it's a bit dramatic, but it's sort of that, like collision course that the film achieves, and through that sequence, and it's so beautifully played. And I think for casual audiences of science fiction, because you're so used to explosions and all these wonderful creatures a lot of the time, like Ad Astra, for example, not so long ago we had space monkeys, and this is very grounded, and I'm fascinated to see whether it really draws an audience. I certainly hope it does, because it's got a very worthy performance in Eva Green. Her on-screen daughter, Zélie Boulant, is terrific. It's great to see Matt Dillon peppering the film as well. I don't think it gets out enough now. We've only seen him in likes of The House that Jack Built, which obviously that was an experience. But I think it's just so gently observed in its direction, and it's just great to see from a very human, empathetic stance that Winocour opts for here, and I really hope it resonates. It certainly went down well with me. I think it's a terrific start to the festival, and I believe the film is out in the UK in the middle of April. I'm not sure exactly when the date is, but definitely be sure to look out for it, because Eva Green, as always, ever watchable, and the wonderful balancing act of strength and vulnerability that she shows within this performance is always engaging. So that is my review of Proxima. I hope I didn't stutter too much there. Of course, there is plenty more on the way. True History of the Kelly Gang tonight, as I put this out. My boy George McGay. I'm so excited. And tomorrow, Rialto, which stars Tom Glencarney, from Dunkirk fame, and Our Ladies, which I'm really, really keen for. The premiere of that is tomorrow night. I really hope it doesn't get written off as a Scottish version of Derry Girls. I really hope it doesn't, because it looks so much more than that for me. And I hope it delivers. But of course, JumpCut Online, Facebook, like our page, Twitter, JumpCut_online, the website, www.jumpcut JumpCutOnline.co.uk. The Patreon page details, which I've mentioned before, we're trying to hit some targets so we can basically do more coverage like this, because we've got such a strong team and a very in-depth team, a lot of members, and we want to try and facilitate as much coverage and build up writers as much as we possibly can. So be sure to check out the details on that. I've been Darryl Griffiths. I'll speak to you soon, guys. Be sure to keep a lookout for the rest of the coverage over the next week or so. But for now, take care and bye-bye for now. See you later.